making history.
And all new here at 7 tonight, turning a negative experience into a chance to teach others. Meet the man working to bring Black History Month experiences into schools.
But first, the search is on for survivors after a massive earthquake rocks Turkey and Syria.
But we begin tonight on this Monday with a massive fire inside a large industrial building on the city's west side.
This fire on Lake Street, right next to the Cisco stop on the Green Line. Eric Hong reports.
This fire has proven to be quite stubborn, but it is contained. Officials say the building has partially collapsed and will likely collapse more, and so it's just not safe right now for firefighters to go inside to completely douse those flames. CFD responding around 2 o'clock this afternoon to the 4700 block of West Lake Street, right next to this road line. Flames at one point were shooting from the roof. Officials say this building has multiple uses. In one part of the building, vehicles are repaired. The other part is used by an artist in artwork, and another tenant we are told is moving in today. CTA has not been halted during the fire. Trains have been coming and going throughout the afternoon and evening.
The wind was favorable. It was blowing away from the elders. There was no fire impingement or danger. The heat was pretty much non-existent at the time. There was just no need to shut down the CTA.
Fire officials say one man had to be taken to Stroger Hospital after suffering dog bites. We saw a dog in a cage here at the scene, and officials say they didn't have all the details, but the dog might have gotten scared while being evacuated from the fire and bit that man. No other injuries are reported at this scene. The cause of the fire force will be investigated. In Austin, Eric Hong, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Eric, thank you. Now to a fire breaking out in the south suburbs today. Furniture and fabric inside this warehouse was helping to fuel these massive flames you see there. This all happening this morning on Chicago Heights. As Christian Picos reports tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what caused that fire.
Tonight, the state fire marshal's office is investigating the cause of this massive fire as hotspots continue to burn at this hour. Fortunately, no one was injured in the early morning blaze, but this is still a substantial loss for the company that owned that warehouse.
I just saw a lot of smoke in the clouds. It was black. I never saw that before a day in my life. I only saw that in movies.
Chicago Heights' James Muhammad was leaving for work early this morning when he saw the towering black plumes of smoke for the first time.
It was just crazy. I didn't know what to do.
Multiple fire departments worked together to extinguish the fire, which fully engulfed the warehouse. Smoke could be seen for miles.
My first concern was, of course, people in the area, friends and family live here.
Homewood's David Zaber says he saw the smoke on his back porch.
And immediately I knew something was on fire, and it was a big plume.
ABC 7 learned the fire heavily damaged a warehouse belonging to Morgan Lee, a family-owned company that creates custom furniture for businesses across the country and around the world. Morgan Lee released a statement, writing in part, "We consider all our employees an extension of our family. We will do everything we can to rebuild what was lost and continue to support our people and the entire Chicago Heights community."
It was ashy type, and it was all over. So I was just very curious what it was.
Raul Avalos says the fire sent an ashy substance nearly 3 miles away, coating his driveway and cars.
Is there going to be any health issues with this fire, with the debris in the area? It was a major fire. And is there going to be any studies done with the air?
City leaders and Cook County health officials were on scene today monitoring air quality, and they report no threat to the community. Meanwhile, there's still no word yet from Morgan Lee on what's going to happen to the employees who once worked inside that now destroy her. Chicago Heights, I'm Christian Picos, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
It's time for our first look at the weather. A mild day, which was good. I mean, a couple really big fires in Chicago area.
I know lately in the last couple of weeks we've been dealing with it. Today, 40 degrees right now at 7:04 at night. The sun was shining and it got darker later.
That's happening, right? It's just been nice. And the no freezing temperatures for those firefighters to deal with probably helped tremendously.
Yeah, and the wind wasn't too bad, you know, fanning the flames. It was nice. People were walking today. I decided to think about taking a walk.
It's progress, thought about it, getting there.
But then Grammys were coming on, and I wanted to watch the red carpet. So, but it was just so nice today. The sun was shining on a Monday. You know, as we started the work week together, it's hard to get going, but when the sun's shining,
It helps a lot, Phil. Yeah, I agree with you.
I just want to get this straight. So it was so nice out. You thought about going for a walk, but you didn't.
right? I put my gym shoes on. I looked out the window,
Ready to go.
I turned on the red carpet.
And you
You
said,
know,
that
and
was it.
I was just like, ooh, I want to watch.
Hard to
With-
blame
you know,
Yeah. But we,
Lizzo was very relieved that you were there to watch.
we got lots to talk about. You're a part of our Grammy discussion later, too. We're fired up about it.
Can't get me in trouble anymore. So
Well, how much
I'm all
time
in.
you got? You got
3 weeks from Wednesday.
23 days.
23
Yeah.
days.
23 days.
Yeah. I was counting.
Well, we're not counting because we're going to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, and again, I probably will in here or there from time to
Yes.
time, so I won't be a stranger. All right, look up at the late radar. You see this moisture here? That's associated with a system that's passing to our north, but trailing from that is a weak cold front, and you can see some light showers developing back in Iowa. We'll see some of that activity later tonight, but next several hours, you can see how quiet it is in the immediate. And any shower activity will be quite light. Temperature-wise, 40 still at O'Hare and Midway, 40 in Plainfield, 39 now in Whiting. There you see the showers developing, and notice temperature ahead of that front will actually rise over the next couple of hours. Those showers move out. We start tomorrow kind of gray in the upper 30s, kind of breezy, and then we get into the lower 40s. So not quite as nice of a day as today. Wednesday, we start with some sun. We go into the mid 40s, but then here comes a messy system. Plenty of cold, soaking rain, strong winds on Thursday. Just kind of a messy day, and even some wet snow for some folks. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
Okay, Phil, see you soon. Tonight we're learning more about what led up to a police shooting in Aurora that critically hit a man during a disturbance at his family's home. Investigators say the man charged at officers with knives, threatening to kill them. Trey Ward reports from Aurora tonight.
Police confirming tonight that they have been called to that home multiple times over the course of the last few years. This recent response, though, ended in gunfire and is now under scrutiny.
It saddens me. It's very sad.
Mental health advocates arriving at Aurora Police headquarters, searching for more answers after a man who family members say was suffering from a mental health episode was shot by police Sunday morning. He's now clinging to life in the hospital with critical injuries.
Even though the gentleman had some problems, no one wants to see their family member or friend or that they know or a person that they don't know shot that many times.
It started with a 911 call, police say, made by a relative in this home on Colorado Avenue near Elmwood about another family member armed with knives.
Was scene, they encountered the subject holding the knives in the doorway of the home, threatening to kill everyone. Officers made efforts to verbally de-escalate the situation. Chief Keith Cross says less lethal options were used. The confrontation, police say, then spilling into the garage area. The armed subject charged an Aurora police officer who, while retreating, was forced to discharge their firearm to protect themselves. The family of the person who was shot told us off camera that he is 21 years old with mental health issues known leads. Investigators confirmed officers did respond to the home multiple times before, in fact, as far back as 2017, but wouldn't say the nature of those calls. Despite that history, police say a mental health crisis responder was not on scene. This comes after ABC7's I-Team spoke with Aurora PD in August about its newly formed Crisis Intervention Unit, or CIU, consisting of specially trained police investigators and social workers to address the increasing number of mental health crisis calls. But those resources not always available. We look at our resources to see if we actually send someone, but that wasn't the call that came in.
I think this might be a wake-up call for the department, again, to make sure that there is a specialist present.
While police say one officer fired their gun, all of the officers who responded to the scene have been placed on routine and administrative leave pending this investigation. In Aurora, Trey Ward, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Trey, thank you for that. Now, police are trying to figure out how a 13-year-old boy was able to bring a loaded handgun into school. They were called to Shoot Middle School around 11 o'clock this morning. The student was allegedly showing classmates the weapon. One of the classmates told school officials, who then called police.
My nephew's 11. don't have weapons or anything, but I think, you wonder how these kids get hands on weapons.
Well, the gun was found and the 13-year-old boy was taken to the police station for questioning. Police say so far that there have been no evidence that the boy made any threats to students or school officials.
Right now, rescue crews racing to pull survivors from massive piles of rubble after a devastating earthquake ripped through the border of Turkey and Syria. At least 3,500 people died in a powerful 7.8 magnitude quake. New video out of Syria shows rescuers removing a child from the rubble. Crumbled buildings now scattered over an area already weakened by a decade of civil war. Many in the region are refugees. And in Turkey, the country's president says it's the worst earthquake in nearly 100 years. Dozens of nations sending volunteers and aid, including the United States. Here in the Chicago, groups are already organizing support for both Turkey and Syria. Michelle Gallardo takes a closer look at how people here can help.
The earthquake hit while most of those impacted were still sleeping. But the devastation in this border region between Turkey and Syria is just starting to become clear. Here in Chicago, loved ones worry and wait.
The friend's brother-in-law, they are trying to communicate with him. They learned his building was totally destroyed. They are hoping he was saved.
The 7.8 magnitude earthquake brought down entire apartment blocks in cities across southern Turkey. Thousands are dead across the border of Syria, where 12 years of war have devastated this particular region. The tragedy is compounding an already horrific situation.
The head of our team, for example, he lives in Idlib city. He sent his family to more north, closer to the border in Turkey, because he's not sure that the building that he's living in will stay up or collapse.
The co-founder of Chicago-based Global, Dr. Taher Salul, had about 100 people working on the ground in the impacted region even before the earthquake. They are now scrambling to help in any way they can while appealing for cash and medical supply donations.
We will be able to coordinate sending these supplies through Link, the effort to send these supplies for free. And we have a team in Turkey that can receive them and distribute them.
With so many people still unaccounted for, community leaders here at the Turkish American Society of Chicago tell us they're still trying to determine how many of their members' families have been impacted. Now the priority is to raise as much money as possible to support the relief efforts.
It is winter right now. The weather is very cold. Hypothermia is another problem. So tents and blankets are going to be the most crucial items they will be needing.
I'm Michelle Gallardo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Michelle, thanks for that. Now, the Department of Defense sharing new images today of the efforts to recover a suspected Chinese spying balloon. Fighter jets shot it down over the weekend. China continues to claim it lost control of what it calls an unmanned civilian airship, that the White House is overreacting.
Attorneys for R. Kelly want a new federal trial in Chicago. His attorneys argue a key witness lied under oath about whether she planned to seek millions in restitution from the singer. He served a year of sex trafficking convictions in New York. He's expected to be sentenced this month for his federal conviction on child pornography and child enticement charges.
It will take several months to renovate and restore a historic wedding venue in Joliet. The Haley Mansion caught fire last week, and in a post on its Facebook page that says that the most severe damage is to a hospitality suite on the 3rd floor, but the 1st and 2nd floors have significant smoke and water damage. It has contacted clients to let them know that events scheduled until at least April will not be able to go forward as planned.
We're a day out from President Biden's latest State of the Union address. The president today gave a sneak peek at his preparation, tweeting this photo of his speech opening, along with a snack break of cookies, it looks like. U.S. Capitol beefing up security, installing around the grounds, similar to what went up for last year's address. The Chicago Fire Department will be attending the State of the Union address. She'll be the guest of Congresswoman Robin Kelly, and recently the first woman and first couple to serve as Chicago's fire commissioner.
And first-term Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez will deliver a response on behalf of the Working Families Party tomorrow night. Ramirez was just elected to Illinois' new 3rd congressional district, which includes portions of Chicago and the western suburbs. She says her address is not a rebuttal to the president's speech, but to talk about additional issues that affect working people.
What I'm going to be doing is encouraging the party, my president, to go further and to do more for working people in the next 2 years.
Ramirez's response will follow the Republican response, which will be delivered by Arkansas's Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She previously served as the White House press secretary during the Trump administration.
Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller says she plans on boycotting President Biden's State of the Union address tomorrow night. The second-term Republican says she's boycotting the address to Congress because she says the president lies. Watch the president's State of the Union address and the Republican response right here on ABC tomorrow night. Our coverage starts at 8 p.m. Chicago time. It will also be streaming on our website and connected TV apps.
Making movies. Yes, right here in Chicago. It is about to happen. A new studio that could bring even more films here to the city.
Plus, just hours after Beyonce made great history, her big fans in Chicago get their first chance to buy tickets to her summer tour.
Look how gorgeous our
pretty.
city looks on Monday, right?
Very nice.
Really pretty. And it's 40 degrees at 7:18, which is really nice, which means we had a nice day. I mean, did you see that sunset? And it was happening like about 4.
Oh, you guys had it on the 5 o'clock
5:10.
show.
Yeah, 5 o'clock, not the 4 o'clock. Right? That is progress.
Right. Turn, what do we expect forward?
Fall back.
Okay. What is that? It's not for another month.
Yeah, no, that's a ways off. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still really, you know, when you look outside, it's 4:30 and it's still light outside with the sun shining.
It doesn't hurt when you have temperatures that are, you know, more like late March than the early parts of February. It has been just so mild here the last few days. Today, certainly no exception. The high at O'Hare, 45, Midway, 44. That's the warmest day since back on January 17th. It's 12 degrees above normal, and we are not done with the mild weather, not by a long shot. So here's what we have coming up. Tomorrow and Wednesday will be kind of a breezy and gray day. Much of the day will be in the upper 30s, but we'll see highs getting into the lower 40s. Low to mid 40s Wednesday. Wednesday, the nicer of those 2 days. Thursday's the day that could be a little bit rough. Windy with a soaking rain and maybe some wet snow mixing in, especially for those of you in McHenry, DeKalb, and possibly in Kane, northern Lake counties. So we'll keep an eye on that for Thursday, and it will be just a raw day across the entire area with some pretty significant rainfall. Friday and Saturday, it does turn colder with highs in the mid-30s. Flurries possible Saturday. There's another system that we got to keep an eye on for Friday. Oh, a couple of the models are saying that we could get some wet snow around here. Friday, other models are saying and nothing more than a few flurries. So we'll keep an eye on for both Thursday as well as any Arctic cold air. Few light showers tonight. You can see for the most part less than a tenth of an inch of rain. Dry during the daylight hours tomorrow. That's get into late Wednesday and Thursday. Look at the fall totals, at least according to the European 1 to 2 inches area wide. This might be slightly over, but this is going to be a pretty soaking rain. And with temperatures much of the day falling out of the lower 40s into the 30s, it's just going to be kind of raw and nasty. And again, some wet snow possible for you folks in the far northwest suburbs, especially by Thursday afternoon. There's that high of 5 degrees, 12 degrees above average. We did get right to the average last year with a high of 30. Record high, 57 cent way back in 1882. Right now we are at 40 degrees. By 10 o'clock tonight, we'll be up into the mid 40s, partly cloudy skies, southeast winds at 17, and it will be quite breezy overnight. 41 in Algonquin, 39 for you folks in Plainfield, Huntley. You're at 38, 49 at Midway. Look at Kansas City. Right now it's 63 degrees. They hit 70 degrees during the day today. We're not going to get that warm, but boy, do we have some mild weather heading our way the next couple days. And then we'll see temperatures just a bit later. So this Monday's mid to our north, there's some of the light showers that could clip our area later tonight. But that's associated with a front that's going to move through here very late tonight. And once that front moves through, it will be windy and temperatures will kind of fall for a while during the day tomorrow before bouncing back into the lower 40s. So watch out as that front moves eastward. There's some of that light shower activity, especially right around midnight or shortly thereafter. As plenty of clouds for the balance of the day, but then late in the day tomorrow, a little clear. High temperature about 42, 40, maybe 44 degrees. And then as we head into tomorrow night, here come the clouds and here come the rain. High temperature Wednesday, 45. And there's that soaking rain with this low pressure system as it lifts northeast. Notice changes over to some wet snow, especially north of the city, where there could be some minor accumulations, and it will be a windy day. That high of 42 happens early in the day on Thursday. So a few light showers tonight. Temperatures at midnight, mid 40s, falling into the upper 30s by daybreak, and then rising just a few degrees during the afternoon once we see the skies start to clear. Extended outlook Saturday or Thursday's a day we got to watch. Friday, some leftover snow showers as it turns colder, but then temperatures rebound again back into the mid 40s to near 50 degrees by early next week.
50 degrees.
Yeah,
close.
It is
close.
Winter still, right?
It's the heart of winter.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, thank you.
We like it. Unless
50
people
would be
who need
phenomenal.
snow to go skiing and stuff.
Yeah. We got time.
Right.
It's
Okay.
like
Right. We got.
second week
Yeah,
in
that's true.
February. We're probably going to get walloped in a couple weeks.
All right. Well, tonight the IT team is on the case of cracked siding. Cracks up and down relatively new homes.
The consumer investigator Jason Knowles is here with what he's working on for 10 tonight. Nice to have you on the stream team. Jay, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey,
Good to
we're
see you.
good. Yeah. What are you finding? Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is here a crack, there a crack, everywhere a crack. We're seeing cracks all over the siding of these homes in Naperville. We're talking about 4 homeowners here. One of the homeowners, this is just beginning. He just has 3 cracks, but others have dozens and dozens of cracks all over the siding, and this is a nightmare for many of these people. You can see here they're showing me their homes, and this is just very disappointing for them. Relatively new homes. They're about 8 years old in some cases, and a lot of these homeowners say that they started discovering the cracks about 1 to 2 years in. So really they started these cracks when the homes were really new. And we're finding, so this is called fiber cement siding, and we're told by experts that this type of, it's not a brand, but the type of siding should last 50 years. And we're talking only 8 years now, and you can see these cracks on the siding. Now, these homeowners may have to pay 50, 60, or 70 grand to fix this problem. And, they're worried about potential safety, potential water damage that may happen down the road. And of course, this is just disappointing. You drive up to your home, you're proud of your home, you have a nice new home, and see these cracks is just, kind of a downer.
So were the cracks leaking water? How were you notified, Jason, there was a problem and this was happening a lot?
Yeah, well, the residents reached out to us. There's no sign of water damage yet. A lot of the residents are a little worried about that could happen. I mean, definitely it's feasible. You see a crack, you're wondering, can that water get in? Right now the problem is there's a lot of finger pointing. So one of the homeowners was able to get the manufacturer to come out and look, and the manufacturer's warranty basically said, nope, sorry, it's not us. The manufacturer is blaming the developer. The developer is saying, nope, sorry, it's the manufacturer. And the developer is actually, the developer's attorney is pointing to this class action lawsuit and a settlement that the manufacturer is. But there's another problem. The homeowners tried to file for that class action settlement, and they are not qualifying for it because it's another brand within that company name. So for some reason, they are not qualifying for that class action settlement. And we do want to say that the developer's attorney also said that they would help some of these homeowners to replace all of the siding at cost, but they still cost $55,000. So we are talking about a lot of money here, and we're going to kind of follow this trail, and you're going to see more of the problems at 10 o'clock.
Round and round they go when you start getting to the finger pointing.
Right.
Such
and
a
I think
hard
everyone
thing.
can relate to this, homeowner.
Yeah, storm damage or anything like that, you start to get into these things with different companies. So what are homeowners are doing to try and fix this? I mean, you kind of described it there, but I think there are probably going to be a lot of people watching. They're like, it's happening to my house too.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're doing. You know, they're doing everything they can. They're reaching out to us. They're reaching out to the developer. They are trying to qualify for this class action suit. They haven't had a lot of luck yet doing so. They're going to try again with the manufacturer. So right now, you know, it's the mystery. It's also, you know, their struggle to get this fixed. Maybe our story will be able to help them.
It usually does. I mean, you usually start to get some progress in something like this when the I-team sniffs it out.
Yeah, really great insight always, and great advice too, Jason. Great
Jason,
investigation.
we'll see you tonight at 10 is the plan?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Okay. You'll see
All right,
Jason.
see you then. ABC 7.
Look forward to that.
Thanks so much.
Coming up soon, dogs that survived a disaster will go up for adoption here in Chicago. They are adorable.
I know, you just want to go,
Stories ahead.
hey baby, just got to.
But
first, we're talking about the Beehive. Get the first chance to buy tickets to Beyonce's summer shows that are happening right here in Chicago.
Ticket sales started today for Beyonce's concerts at Soldier Field this summer.
And Susan McCallum wants to go to the concert with her 16-year-old daughter. She registered as a verified fan, but that does not guarantee tickets. Ticketmaster says the demand for tickets far outnumber the supply, in some cases 800%. So many people are just on a waiting list.
We're not going to find tickets to actually go to a concert, either that or they're outrageously priced.
Well, Ticketmaster's site crashed, of course, as you'll recall, during a pre-sale event in November for Taylor Swift tickets after the company said it was overwhelmed by fans and bot attacks. Now, there are a variety of pre-sales for Beyonce tickets today, only open to the Beehive fan club. Then tomorrow, it is City card holders, and then on Thursday, Verizon customers can buy tickets. Then on Saturday, the sales open up for Vera fans who want a lottery. And, you know, last night after she made history at the Grammys, the price just went up that much more.
You're going to be able to get them on the secondhand market, but they're going to be astronomically
My cousin
expensive.
sent me something today of the fan verified one for her. She has daughters, of course, that age that want to go see her. And it's like $4,000 a ticket.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
It's going to be, yeah, it's a lot, you know, and we'll see what happens. But
we'll keep following it for sure, because you want to know, will she get a ticket?
Right,
woman who does
and some
Susan.
people, you know, are treating their children for good grades or graduation presents or birthday presents, and some people, they asked, do you want to go on summer vacation versus get a ticket for Beyonce?
Demand so exceeds supply at
see, that was Ticketmaster.
You know, the demand exceeds supply, so that's the issue to begin with, and then you reward some of these people who are Verizon or Citi card holders, and then you start to wonder how many are left over for people.
I know. Through this with Taylor Swift, remember, we have some fans, diehard fans.
They're upset.
Yeah, and I mean, Beyonce hasn't gone on tour since 2016.
That's it too.
Yeah.
And only 2 shows here, and it was only going to be one.
Man, so high. They're going to be, and she's starting out in Europe. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to watch, you know, but she made history. We're going to talk about the Grammys a little bit later
I'm looking
on
forward
tonight.
to that, because that was incredible, and then we'll talk about something else besides the tickets.
Right, and also later on tonight, we want to give you an cutie pie picture, because dozens of doggies and puppies displaced by a tornado damage in Texas, they are set to arrive right here in Chicago. I know Snoop Dogg would like a sibling or an extra.
We got our hands full. I'm telling you, these furry friends are ready for adoption or fostering from Paws, Chicago, once they've had medical exams, but that's coming. This little lady here is named Twister for the tornado-shaped patch on her chest.
That.
And that tornado that ripped the roof off a Houston animal shelter, which led to this rescue effort. So that we'll keep you updated on that, but they're going to get
medical checkup. They look great, and you know, it's always a nice time to get a puppy or forever home for these babies.
Hopefully somebody will.
These fur babies.
I don't think they'll stick around long.
No, not the ones we just saw, for sure.
I know they do. Making more movies in Chicago, it's a big goal for this.
Yeah, a great story and a huge step forward as city leaders break ground on a new studio complex. We talked about it a year ago. Now it is happening. We'll be right back.
City leaders want even more TV shows and movies filmed right here in Chicago.
And now a new Southside studio could help bring those productions right here. There was a very special groundbreaking today for the Regal Mile Studios. That is in the South Shore neighborhood near South Chicago Avenue and 79th Street. Leah Hope Tonight takes us right to the scene.
Here at 77th and South Chicago Avenue, a lot of people will be familiar with this area as 79th and Stony, where the White Castle is. But soon this will be the home of Regal Studios. From the executive producer of The Chi and manager of Common, he brought along a lot of famous friends and investors to create this studio, expected to open in over a year. What had been vacant soon to be the home of what some hope will be the Hollywood of South Shore.
It's just amazing to see this. As a matter of fact, when I pulled up, I was like, whoa, and it's really happening. We've been waiting for this.
Today, a tent is on the site for the official groundbreaking of Regal Mile Studios. The campus is expected to produce TV shows and movies while offering opportunity and training to people in the area.
And we're going to grab these young kids that are so predisposed to the arts, so predisposed to film and video and visual activity, and we're going to train them how to do it.
This investment is going to endure to the benefit of the entire South Side and, dare I say, to the entire city. So this is a big moment of pride for all of us.
For longtime residents like Gwen Jones, who have seen promises and plans come and go, but today, Ms. Jones says she's emotional at this promise kept.
With this coming here now, it's going to bring more investments, businesses, more opportunities for the youth here, and it's going to bring this wonderful.
A lot of folks are about the possibilities of what this studio could bring. It is expected to open this summer of 2024. In the South neighborhood, Leah, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Leah, this is such wonderful news. Last year in February, I went out with Derek Dudley, I think on the coldest day of the year last year, and walked in the neighborhoods where he grew up. That White Castle, very famous. Everybody knows that intersection right there in Exchange on 79th Street. And for him to walk through, and he had had this dream since he was maybe 13, 15 years old, and he said, we should be making movies on the south side of Chicago. Tyler Perry can do it in Atlanta. We can have our Hollywood Midwest. And
that space is perfect.
It's perfect.
You
It's
have
open.
the room. Yeah, it's open.
Yeah.
It's easy to get to. And they have some heavy hitters playing with this one.
Oh, yeah. Derek Rose, of course, Chance the Rapper. And Jim Reynolds, shout out to him, the CEO of Loop Capital, who is the capital and the finance behind this. He said if this was being built anywhere else besides the south side of Chicago, he would not be investing. Because this is the same neighborhood that he grew up. We all took that 79th Street bus and we passed by the Regal Theater on 79th Street, and now it's going to be a place where kids can learn how to direct, write, act, and even for, like, you know, when you make movies, they have food service. They're going to have that.
Oh, it's
there
going to
as
create
well.
thousands of jobs.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is such a great city for films now and TV shows, as we know, that the demand is there. The state and the city have done a terrific job of welcoming these people, but then you do something like this to take it to the next level and provide a lot of opportunity for a lot of people.
I know, dreams really do come true. And Derek Dudley, I'm just remembering and I'm getting chills because it was very cold out there, but we walked through and I asked him, what does it mean to talk about this right now? And he said, I can't believe my dream is coming.
And here they broke ground.
Yeah. And, you know, Common, who we call Rashid, if you know him from growing up, that's his best friend. They live next door to each other. They said they were going to do it, and it's happening.
It's happening.
So
I can't wait to follow the progress.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're going to be there for the opening, the grand opening. Right? I need a news anchor in one of their movies, too. All right. Well, it is February, so we are celebrating Black History Month through education. We will introduce you to a man who has made it his mission to learn about his new children's book as well. Coming up next.
Plenty of clouds, kind of breezy during the day tomorrow, but we'll still make it at least into the lower 40s. Mid-40s Wednesday to Thursday, things start to change. That high 42 happens early in the day, a raw day with plenty of rain and even a little bit of mix, especially in the northern suburbs. We'll talk about that. Look ahead to your weekend. That coming up in a few minutes.
Well, February is Black History Month, and tonight we are speaking to a specialist to use empower and educate families.
More high school educator, runs his own consulting firm, joins us live here tonight. It's so great to have you on the show. How you doing?
Yes.
Great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for having me.
We're excited to learn a little bit about you. How did you become a Black History content creator?
Oh, what happened was I was actually, I started my book because I dealt with the hate crime in 2016. With this hate crime, my wife and I were verbally accosted. We were at the Margarita Fest in Chicago. We were just minding our business, and we were attempting to play cornhole. And what happened was at this event, July 30th of 2016, we grabbed the beanbag that we thought somebody else wasn't using, and a white woman in the group with 3 other people came up to us, started screaming at us, called it the N-word. I started recording.
Wow.
That led to her sitting. My first piece of content, most people would probably be surprised in 2016, was me posting that video to get justice. Now that was 2016. I started creating vlogs around that time too, just to get my voice out. But it would not be until 2021 that I would create my first TikTok, and that came in the midst of the pandemic. I had tried a variety of different avenues with content. Nothing was like just hitting it, extremely well. But I saw some content creators using TikTok for education. I thought it was just a dance app. So I said, you know what, let me try this out. And I was reading about Ida B. Wells that day, and I said, you know what, Ida B. Wells is somebody we should know more about.
Right.
So I decided to record a video called Ida B. Wells Was a G. And it took off. And that was in 2021, and then it, has been going on from there.
Oh, now that I think about it, I remember that because I grew up with her great-granddaughter, the Dusters, and of course she was a journalist here from Chicago. So this is amazing. You were a school teacher for 12 years, high school teacher. How does that impact how you have become a hativist?
Yeah, so as a high school teacher, I initially got involved in education because I felt that when I learned about history, my own history, that it inspired me so much that I felt like if I was able to give kids my neighborhood, was born and raised on the south side of Chicago, that same information, that it could, transform our community from the inside out. So for me, it was never just about teaching in the class, though. It was also about educating. I come from a household where my parents had Black history posters everywhere. My mom was an educator for 30-something years and an administrator, and I saw her taking her, her students to church, raising money to take them to D.C., kids from Roseland, and I'm seeing that firsthand, living in that same environment. So for me, it's like education, as far as our community, we know it's something that's been banned before. So it's not just about sitting there, it's about Frederick Douglass had to risk his life to learn how to read. He never sat in school. He changed the entire country because of his thirst for knowledge that he knew could change our society for the better.
You've seized to social media as a way to connect with people. Children, what do they say when they get to meet someone like you? Because you share a lot, you've been through a lot, and for them to, they all relate to you. And then they see what great aspirations you've had and the things you've accomplished.
Before I was well known for making content, I was well known in my classroom and in the school just because of the passion I have for education. Like I said, it was never just teaching in the room. It was about what can I do in the class. So when I started to, of course, the video was posted in 2016. And then when I started making content, started making this rounds, it didn't get interesting to have kids. Mr. Chris, I just saw you. And then when we came back from the pandemic, that's when it really started blowing up because I would have stop by my classroom, like, Mister, I saw you on my For You page. Well, they would just stare at me sometimes. And I'm like, say hi. Oh, bye.
Are you him? That's so wonderful because, last week, I guess, Schoolhouse Rock celebrated 50 years, putting knowledge to music has always been a way to teach young people when you couldn't get to them through a book. So you've done something wonderful because you met them where they are on TikTok, because that's where they are. Talk about the value of, there's always the saying, February is the shortest month of the year, the coldest month of the year. Talk about Black history 24/7, 365.
So I think it's important, first and foremost, that people realize that Dr. Carter G. Woodson, he did not say, you know what, let's take the shortest month. He deliberately chose February because Black people have come together to celebrate Frederick Douglass' birthday, which he appointed himself to have February 16th. He didn't know when he was born. So he celebrated Abraham Lincoln's contributions politically. So he said, let's make it this week first in 1926, and then that ballooned into something in 1976 to be a month. But Dr. Carter G. Woodson's intention was never for us to celebrate it one month. It was us to come together and talk about how we've been celebrating all year round, what we did all year round. And one of my goals and my passions now was to elevate him and what his purpose was, but then now to also take it to that next level where we say this is something we celebrate all year round. Because when I talk to my kids, like my own kids, even when I was in a class, I would say, y'all, look, y'all know we do this all year round. Because we're talking about Black history, Hispanic history, Asian history. This is something I was, my mission was to embed all of that, because truly American history is all of us coming together anyway. So one of my next goals, in fact, is to create a book in which I help parents do this year round. So it's not just something for 28 days.
Talk about your book as we our conversation, our couch conversation, as we call it. Talk about your book.
Yes. So again, my first book came while I was dealing with the hate crime in 2016. For those out there who are dealing with mental health issues, it came on the heels of me having a mental breakdown, honestly. I was, trying to go through the court system and trying to get justice. And I had a day where I just really felt low. And the only avenue I had to release my frustration was to write. And the book came from that. Wow. And one portion of my book that really stood out to me whenever I have speaking engagements too was when I talked about what my mom said to me. She gave me this really powerful affirmation when I was 9, and I asked her why we hadn't had a Black president. She's because they didn't know me to grow up. So what I did was I took that affirmation and I said I need to remodel that for parents around the world. So my children's book is 26 affirmations. Okay. And it's also teaching Black history at the same time. So if that one affirmation changed my life, what would 26 do for yours?
Yeah, Ernest Krim III, changing lives by sharing some time with us. Really appreciate you coming on. Yeah. Come back and visit with us again.
I definitely will. Thanks
Best
for having
blessings,
me.
and thank you for what you do to educate.
Say hi to those kids, Mr. Krim, Mr. Elgis, and Ms. Burton. Still ahead tonight, we're talking all things Grammys, the history made, moments getting a lot of attention that don't have a whole lot to do with the winners. We'll be right back. Okay, we're staying on the couch to talk about the Grammys.
Couch conversation.
Saw a lot of historic moments last night.
Beyonce officially became the most decorated artist in history. She won her 32nd Grammy, surpassing a classical conductor to hold the title on her own. Beyonce, who has won the most Grammys, she's never won Record of the Year, despite being nominated 8 times. Can you believe that?
It's pretty surprising, and didn't win it last night.
Yeah, Harry won it last night.
But
so,
she was amazing. She got it. She broke the record. That conductor is from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Lee was telling us, George Schulte, who is now number 2 behind
Right, and
Beyonce.
Quincy Jones is number 3, who is from Chicago as well. So we represent number 2 and 3. Who knows?
Right.
You know.
Did you watch?
Some of it.
Yeah.
One performer I always like, partially because the name is so simple, yet he's talented, and the name is kind of funny too. Do you know who I'm going with?
Oh, I don't know.
There are a lot of performances. I'm trying
little
to
funny name.
The 50th.
Little funny name, simple but funny name.
Okay, I'm trying. You Bad Bunny. Right, who opened the show. Yeah, Bad Bunny, who opened the show.
Bad Bunny.
Fantastic way.
Making history with this all-Spanish album, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could have won, nominated. There was some great performances.
Great performances.
I thought.
Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, and I don't know.
Smokey Robinson?
He's 83, 82,
yeah,
83.
I think 82.
He just came out with a new album called Gasm. So
Really?
Yeah.
Called what?
Gasm.
Yeah. This is the topic of the show last week.
And I want you guys to know this. The young men singing backup for them were the sons of Boys to Men.
Really?
You know the group, the sons of the group Boys to Men.
They were young fellas.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's who was performing the backup for them. So I follow them on TikTok, so and Instagram, and they sing a cappella. So last night they were phenomenal.
The whole thing, that whole
Chris
performance
Stapleton
with
was great. I mean, it was really a wonderful opportunity to just celebrate so much history. Speaking of that,
a small group of people after winning a Grammy, audio book, narration and storytelling recording. She previously won an Emmy, Oscar, and a Tony. She becomes the 18th winner.
So hard, only the third African American woman, and she said she wrote the book to talk to her 6-year-old self. If you've read that book, her journey story is unbelievable. The fact that she's still here.
I never knew what EGOT meant until today, to be honest.
Okay,
A little earlier today,
Phil,
but I did not know
Phil,
it.
we get to
I
have
thought
a
EGOT, is that a special award?
Right,
it's very special.
It is very
hard than a Tony.
Yes.
It's even harder to win a Tony, I think, than an Oscar.
Any of these, really.
I mean, and then for Viola to win for her book that's so personal. Finding Me is the name of her book. It is so good if you want to listen to audio, and that's why she won, because the audio version,
the audio narration
is just phenomenal.
Is
We
this
talked
the-
about that and more history. I was so happy for Bonnie Raitt too, you guys. She won Song of the Year. Now, Song of the Year is written by the words. That's how you win, not the music. The recording is Record of the Year. It was a win for that. But Bonnie Raitt won for Song of the Year, and that's because she wrote about a woman who gave her son's organs to a man so he could live.
I did not know that's what the song
And
was
that's
about.
what the song is
She
about.
was-
So
she-
people were outraged because Beyonce didn't
Really
win and
were.
Lizzo didn't.
Well, social media
But-
was outraged.
Right.
But
Social media is always
But-
it's gonna be outraged no matter what. I did not
No
know.
matter
She
what.
That is
took
the
stage,
backstory.
Remember,
Just like that.
Remember the lives lost with Sheryl
Yeah,
Crow
in memoriam.
and she was great. She was great.
Is this
Yeah,
true?
so-
Ozzy Osbourne won something yesterday?
Probably did. They had 91 categories, but we didn't do them all last night. But
All that history.
all right, so we got to talk.
All that history. I don't want to downplay
Oh, here we go. Here we
my mind. Now to a Grammys moment, getting a lot of attention online. They're fighting.
Rob had, oh my God, he has to say about this.
It looks
he's
intense
mad.
between Ben and Jennifer Lopez.
Look at that
Something
face. He's
she's
got
walking
Can
away
stink.
like,
we rewind that a little
yes,
bit?
Watch.
The stink eye he
I
gives
told
her.
you. I told you. Yeah, I told you to say.
What did you say, woman?
Okay.
That's
I have
Oh, wait till we get.
I have things.
She didn't. She was on camera.
They were always on camera. I didn't get
Maybe it's just you think it was
Trevor Noah
fake?
was fantastic, by
think it
the
was
way,
fake?
too.
Steve,
No.
maybe. Stevie Wonder is playing the
Right.
piano. Okay, Steve Wonder's like they're up there. This is I'm in my living room. This is amazing. J-Lo was doing that. They cut the band. He's just like,
Oh, he's
Work function.
he's got a stink eye.
man, that's Stevie Wonder, right?
Right,
And that's
legend.
Like, just
I
stand
know.
up
And then
and
the
move.
50 years of hip hop. That
Yeah,
was,
well, oh.
you know, a 17-minute performance. Well, how can you not get up and
I can't
it's getting
dance. You
hot?
know this.
Yeah.
I can, and I will. And
Right.
you roll that
Next
if I'm
line.
on the front. I mean, they were like right there, this far away from Stevie Wonder.
And they're fighting.
No. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Michelle and I discussed this immediately.
You know what we should
texted
get?
you. Sorry, we texted.
Oh, is that what you
we need
texted? I didn't understand.
A lip reader and see
Right,
if they.
but that's-
We could body language expert. That's
It's probably
we
been
already
done.
we did it.
You got to do
we,
weather.
We did
We're
it.
almost out of time.
Was it
Phil, you've been married a long time. Rob, you've
Vanity?
been married a long time. You know when you body language when you're talking to your
I know, but I want to.
This marriage will not last.
Okay, what?
Bold
You know what?
prediction. Look out.
Rob Elgus, we are going to have a conversation.
He's got to walk all the way over to weather so we can talk.
Yeah, you got 10
for
seconds.
another 30
As we
seconds.
look at
Yeah,
a
I know you'll
gorgeous
talk
view
way
of the
longer.
city.
than that.
Look at that.
Oh, that's traffic, I think. Ben, you have to go. Just stay home.
I could have been her bus wash. I totally had an outfit ready to go.
All right, can I do weather now?
No, I'm mad at him.
All right, look at our rain and snow chances over the next several days. Virtually less than 20% really for tomorrow and the daylight hours of Wednesday, but up to 80% chance on Thursday. And some of that, especially the far northwest suburbs, could fall in the form of snow. Friday would be primarily wet snow. I'm not expecting here in the city any significant accumulations, but a taste of winter nonetheless. And then the chances of precipitation really fall off as we head into the weekend. What day we had today made it up to 45 degrees so far. We're going to see temperatures rise over the next 2 hours and then cool off again towards day 40 displays as well as Elgin, 41 in Burbank, 37 right now in Waukegan. You can see the really mild air ahead of this cold front. Still 57 in Springfield. The temperature stands at 50 degrees. Break now back in Iowa. Those are some of the showers that we'll get here after 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Right now, quiet. We will see those showers. There you see by 11:45 some of the scattered showers, and look at the temperatures back into the mid-40s. Those showers move out around daybreak. Temperatures start in the mid to upper 30s, then climb back into the low, maybe the mid-40s in a few places. After about 2, 3 o'clock, we'll start to see a little of the sunshine tomorrow, but the morning will be raw. And then as we head into Wednesday, a beautiful day, mid-40s. Clouds start to increase late in the day, and here comes that rain. It will be a soaking rain with pretty strong winds as we have Thursday morning commute, just a raw day. And look at the rain and snow line. That starts to move. We will see the rain change over to snow before ending by later in the day. So overnight tonight, just a few light showers. Temperatures up to 46 at midnight, then falling to about 38 by 6 a.m. Tomorrow's highs from 40 north to 45 south. Most of the day kind of breezy and gray, and then some clearing late in the day. Here's your extended outlook. Lower 40s Thursday. That's early in the day. Some snow showers Friday. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Still kind of chilly Saturday. Nothing unusual. And then temperatures rebound again late in the weekend and into early next week. Be back this spring.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.